Hey, you gorgeous people, this is Gene the Coffee Bean, and this is my disclaimer. All the opinions expressed in this podcast are mine and mine alone, unless otherwise noted. My opinions are not intended for any other purpose but your entertainment. You rock. Good morning, you fantabulous Americans and beautiful people of the world. I hope you and your loved ones are all doing super. This is Gene the Coffee Bean. Welcome to the podcast. Okay, you beautiful peeps, let's jump right in. Today's quote of the day is, "It is a mark of an educated mind to be able to entertain a thought without accepting it." Aristotle. You know, this automatically reminds me that the mind is not supposed to be a pollution catcher. It's supposed to carefully and fairly weigh and balance information and strive to understand and hopefully arrive at a plastic or malleable and reasonable take of a subject or issue. You know, we're not supposed to marry an idea immediately. We have to assess it and find its value. And I think in looking at the quote, there is a prerequisite that we can engage to avoid the pitfalls of being a pollution catcher to begin with. We should be really, really careful about forming final fixed opinions about most things. Because as we go through life and as we learn, as we have more life experiences, and as we get older, and that those life experiences turn into wisdom, our opinions of things are going to shift. It's inevitable. Opinions we had about things in our 20s are going to be entirely different and for different reasons when we're in our 40s or 50s. So when you accept the fact that you will inevitably change your opinions and your perspectives over time, you realize how silly it is to arrive at fixed opinions to begin with. That doesn't mean you can't have reasonable, opinions about things, or what you think is reasonable at the time. It just means that we should remain open to the fact that we will inevitably learn more and have a broader and more expansive understanding of how things are. And this way you don't fall into the pitfall of being trapped in a fixed set of perspectives, which is not natural anyway, because we have a tendency to pose more and more sophisticated and intelligent questions as we get older, because we're able to articulate ourselves much better and to perceive much more. So it's a great quote. Okay, let's move on. Let's have some fun. Time for the jokes of the day. I got a bonus one here today because I found it and it's just really funny. Okay, let's start with number one. What did one hat say to the other? "You stay here, I'll go on ahead." I told my wife that one this morning and she was cracking up. Okay, number two. What did the pirate say when he turned 80? "I'm 80. That's cute. Okay. So my wife chastised me the other day. She told me I was so immature and I really needed to grow up. So I told her to get out of my fort. Sounds like something I would do. Oh boy. Okay, here's the bonus joke. It's pretty funny. I love this one. So two elderly ladies, Mabel and Ethel, they go out for coffee and cake. So after a few minutes of, having coffee and cake, Mabel looks at Ethel and says, "Ethel, you have a suppository in your ear." And Ethel says, "What?" And Mabel talks louder and says, "You have a suppository in your ear." And Ethel reaches up to her ear, and sure enough, there's a big white suppository in her ear. She takes it out. "Well, look at that. You're right, I did." "Well, at least I know where I put my hearing aid now." Okay, let's move on to the fun facts of the day. This one's really interesting. Loneliness weakens immunity. Having family and friends around increases your immune system by up to 60%, which is pretty rational and logical. We're members of a social species. We need each other. We depend on each other for everything. So obviously, it's more natural to be around people, even when we're shy. And it's going to make you feel better, release the endorphins, and, your immune system will be better. Number 2, studies have found that children ask an average of 300 questions a day. What's for dinner? Where are you going? What time are you coming home? Is Dad home? Who's there? We all did it. All right, number 3. This is going to gross out a lot of people. Some commonly found ingredients in beauty products, include whale vomit, crushed up beetles, and cow pee. Honey, did you see my whale vomit around? My face is really chafy. Oh my gosh. I don't know what they use the whale vomit for, but the fact that they're using anything from a whale is very disturbing anyway. Number 4. This is pretty interesting, and it's very telling about our neighbors to the north, the Canadians. Canadians say sorry so much that a law was passed in 2009 declaring that an apology cannot be used as evidence of admission to guilt. They were always saying sorry, huh? That's funny. Here, I got you a birthday gift. Sorry. Oh, look, you won the lottery. Sorry. Oh, that's funny. Very sweet people, huh? Okay, questions of the day. Number 1, if you could teach all of humanity one concept, what would it be? That's interesting. For me, it would be, and you're going to probably hear me repeat this phrase a lot. It's a phrase I've come up with, and it sums up basically in an extremely conceptual way everything I've learned in life. And that is to orchestrate your life in harmony with the concert of existence, nature, and the natural human disposition. That's what I would say. Number 2, if you could put wings on any animal in the animal kingdom, which one would you choose? That's interesting. It wouldn't be a cow. That would be dangerous. Because what if the cows decided to fall out of the sky? I think it would have to be something small, personally. And something that's not an obnoxious animal or harmful. Did you ever see what a bunny looks like when you pick it up by the scruff? They're so cute like that. I would have to say, for me, it would be a bunny. I'd love to see a bunny fly. So cute. Oh my gosh. That would be adorable. Who knows? What else? Not cats and dogs. Yeah, I think it would have to be something docile and small. Number 3, what topic could you give a 20-minute presentation on without any preparation? Wow. Personally, I think that's easy because we all have passions and hobbies. Our hobbies we always know a lot about, so if you just did one of your hobbies that you were passionate about, you could do it easily. Okay. Moving on to number 4. What song would be played on a loop in order to torture people in hell? For me, it would be Row, Row, Row Your Boat. Oh, I hate that song. Especially when you come in with the chorus and everything. Or that Herb Alpert trumpet song, Rise. Yeah, that would be pure hell for me. But I think Row, Row, Row Your Boat would just drive everybody out of their minds. Okay. Question and challenge of the day. What small action could you take to make your home life easier or better? And the challenge, obviously, is to do it. Go do it. I think I would have to ask my wife. Honey, what can I do to make our lives better here in home? And I'm sure she could give me a nice list. So I have to go ask her that now. All right. Silly questions of the day. I have 2 today. Okay, this is a really funny one. What sport would be the funniest to add a mandatory amount of alcohol to? I'm sure we can all think of a lot of them. It'd be hysterical to see drunk golf. What about boxing? They'd be swinging at nothing. What else? Baseball would be fun. Well, we've seen that before, though, when we have these, when your company has a business picnic and you play softball and people drink too much. It's funny. That's something to think about. Number 2, if you had to take a uniform from one sport and make another sport wear it, what would be the most absurd combination you can imagine? How about giving women's synchronized divers an ice hockey goalie's uniform? It would be kooky. And what if you made ice hockey wear the women's synchronized swimmers' bathing suits? How about football players having to wear jockey uniforms with those little hats? Well, actually, wait a minute. Let me back up on that one, because way back in the day, in the early days of football, they had those kind of helmets that looked like a jockey helmet. A little bit bigger, but those pilot helmets, they were ridiculous. Yeah, that's funny to think about. Just swapping up the uniforms and what you have to wear. What would happen if basketball players had to run around in football uniforms with helmets? Oh, boy. Okay, you gorgeous people, it's time for the micro story of the day. Have fun, and I'll see you on the other side. Peace. The sting of unknown things. A tinder box of pain, set off by a sun ray sprayed across the floor in late afternoon. The child remembers all of the wonders that passed before, when his heart was open like a sponge to all. Yet a yearning for something unknown had always plagued the child's mind. Was it real or imagined? A faded memory, perhaps, but the depth of which was far too old for a child to understand. The smell of the sea, visions of gray cliffs, the curves of a woman, the sight of tall, wet grass. They would follow him always and weep on his soul like reams of Spanish moss. Pale white skin, warm pressed lips, a long goodbye, a long, loud cry. He would wait on the edge as the waves crashed asunder on gray cliffs among the tall wet grass. Yet never a reunion would arrive on the shore, and forever it would pain him, for one life, even more. And there it is. Okay, you absolutely beautiful human being. This is Gene the Coffee Bean, and I'm wishing you a fantastic day. And may you and all of your loved ones always be blessed with the best of everything. Thank you so much for joining me today, and I hope to see you again tomorrow. You rock.